Oh, by the way, something that's cool too that you can do in Visual Studio is you can actually split your fucking window, so I can actually have two different areas of code we're looking at the same time. I went ahead and closed, we're in the middle of debugging a program where I left off on on the last video. But, I went ahead and closed that, window that has the performance on it. I've never used that yet. I think you can go up to debug somewhere and start it again if you want to see it. Most of the stuff's in this Windows file here. So I think it's performance. That's what it's called. Yeah, performance profile or something. No, never mind. How do I get out of this? Okay. Anyway, it's in there though. I've seen it before. Anyway, this is handy, especially for C, because you have 4 declarations at the beginning of your program, but your functions are somewhere else. It's great to be able to mess with, just things in one part of your program and another part, like where your variables are declared or what have you. So like here, like here, I can, put it up here at the start of our main file. So here's where all of our stuff's declared, so you can see what our initial values are or whatever, and make changes as you please. So that these all still pertain to the same file. So now here I'm using printf on a few things here, so you can see, this is kind of where we left off, I believe. Okay, so you can see what this printed out here. This is really nothing special. It's kind of showing you the printf function and how our, these D values are being passed A, B, and C, in order. In other words, A goes here, B goes here, and C goes here. So, because that book, neither of those two books mentioned the printf statement at all. So that's why I thought it was deprecated, because neither of those two books, one written in 2014 and the other written in 2004, neither of them had a single printf anywhere in the book as far as I could tell. And that second book, that C++ for Dummies, was huge. I mean, that was 700 or 800 pages. So that's saying something. If a 700-page C++ book doesn't have printf in it. Anyway, now here's just discussing the ternary operator, which I did yesterday on one of yesterday's videos. So, talking about formatting the output results or whatnot, but the ternary operator can be used like this too, because you can assign a variable, the result of the output, but it'll just pick. It's kind of like an Excel if-then statement to some extent, but it evaluates whatever's over here, and if this condition is true, it's this one. If it's false, it's this one. So simple but handy. See, there's just some more printf statements, and IntelliSense kind of gets in the way sometimes. Here's how to use cout2 in a statement, kind of like we did yesterday, more or less. When I was up here, when I did the electron negative positive thing. Right here. So, let's see. Run to cursor. Alright, so, let's run it up to here. We're looking at this factorial thing, I guess. Where's our fucking... Where's the goddamn thing at? Oh. Oh, shit. Let me pause it. Yeah, I guess that run to cursor didn't work quite like I thought. And we're sitting here at a CN statement. We hadn't gotten there yet. I just kept running it. Shit. Oh, man. Well, let's try that again. Fuck it. Alright. Alright. Ternary operator section. This is where we're at. Let's see. Okay, so that runs it, by clicking that little thing, that basically ran it to that point, so, and stopped it again. So, you can kind of see everything it did in here. Got to our ternary operator section, but like I said, all that stuff's pretty much covered above this. Let's see. This is again more experimentation with printf, it looks like. And the ternary operator, again, this is not in the book probably, it was just me playing around. So you can say if it's not equal to 1, undo this. A lot of these C coders, love using the not operator for some stupid reason. I don't know what's going on in their head, but they like to make their shit as hard or complicated to read as possible. Well, there could be reasoning for it. It may execute faster, using a not operator, because it's certainly going to be a bit flag, but in the processor status register somewhere. But I don't really know that there's an advantage to it or not, because the bit flag can be looked at as positive or negative depending on if it's set or not. We usually have a negative bit flag in a status register, some processors anyway. So if it's 1, it's actually a negative result. If it's cleared, it's or 0, it's a positive result. But at any rate, I don't know. I don't know what the reasoning is behind it, but I'm just going to make my usually things like this are inconsequential, if you're doing it again and again and again 50 million times, like processing an array or something, that may be an issue. If it saves any time at all, I don't know. I don't know what the verdict is on that. It's just more on the ternary operator. Again, I was mystified by it originally, and doing Medilla 2, A equals 12. Let me run to this point. Okay, that didn't seem to work. Oh, this thing's fucking buggy as a... because I don't even know where it is. I mean, where did it stop at? I mean, where the fuck are we? shouldn't be running. You know, there's no reason for it to be running. Oh, okay. Step out then. I don't know what the shit's going on here. Ugh. I have no idea what the fuck's going on here. And by the way, that blue line shows you where your cursor currently is versus your scroll bar. You know, so that's where cursor is, and that's where a breakpoint is in this case. Now, if you're not in debug mode, that'll show you where errors in your code are, those little red splotches. So, I don't know what the shit's going on here. Value of max. Where the fuck am I? Okay, I guess it was up here where my cursor was. You know, ternary operators. Okay, again, I don't know what the shit's going on.